Good afternoon. My name is George Frazier. I'm the Vice President for College Advancement at Green River College. I'll be your Master of Ceremonies this afternoon. To start, it's my pleasure to introduce the Muckleshoot Canoe Family, who will open our celebration this afternoon.
Any of my cousins want to sing the Women Warrior song to Auntie, you're welcome to come up and join us. Or you can sing from the back. I can see you guys.
Go. I'm trying to tell me to go. He's just staring at me.
I'm honored to welcome you to this year's D.R. Hanford Leadership Ceremony. I'd like to begin this portion of our celebration by expressing both my own and our college's gratitude and acknowledgement to the federally recognized Muckleshoot people as we gather on their traditional lands. We recognize the Muckleshoot tribe's continued presence as a strong sovereign nation and their invaluable contributions to our state history, economy, and culture. The college's proximity to the Green River and Seuss Creek places our institution directly on the historic fishing, hunting, and living spaces of the Muckleshoot people. The local village, an important Muckleshoot tribal village, was historically located on what is now near Green River College. The care and stewardship of the land remain a living responsibility carried forward by the Muckleshoot people today. Today's program celebrates a tradition of honoring leaders who have made extraordinary contributions to our community, leaders who embody service, vision, and the power to bring people together. This year's honoree, Muckleshoot Tribal Council member Virginia Cross, has served the Muckleshoot tribe for decades and also strengthened the bridge between the tribe and Green River College through her years of service as a college trustee. To officially welcome us and present this year's D.R. Hanford Leadership Award, please join me in welcoming the president of Green River College, Dr. Suzanne Johnson.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Green River College and the Board of Trustees, it is my honor to welcome you to the 2025 D.R. Hanford Leadership Award ceremony. I wish you could see my view. This is such a wonderful, wonderful gathering of people, and this room is filled with such love and devotion. Virginia. We are privileged to be joined today by members of the Muckleshoot Tribal Council, tribal elders, the Canoe Family, distinguished community leaders, elected officials, Green River College trustees, faculty, staff, students, and friends of the college. This gathering celebrates leadership, service, and the deep ties that bind our communities together. It is also a time to honor the enduring relationship between Green River College and the Muckleshoot Indian tribe, a relationship built on mutual respect, collaboration, and a shared commitment to help people gain the necessary education to achieve their goals. We have worked together to expand access and supports to students in fields such as carpentry, early childhood education, information technology, natural resources, and nursing. Green River College has supported the tribe's successful pursuit of grants to fund these efforts from sources such as the U.S. Department of Education's Native American Career and Technical Education Program. This reflects our mutual desire to create opportunities and clear away obstacles so that our communities will flourish. Today, we are especially honored to recognize Muckleshoot Tribal Council member Virginia Cross, a leader whose vision and dedication have made a lasting impact far beyond her own community, and whose work exemplifies the very spirit of the Hanford Award. I look forward to sharing more about her extraordinary journey in just a few minutes. But first, to help us understand the significance of this award, the legacy of Denton Hanford, and the process used to select each year's recipient, I'm pleased to invite Foundation Board President Gail Spurrell, Hanford family member Sarah Lynn Hanford, and nominator Bridget O'Connor to share their perspectives.
I'm not quite sure why Dr. Johnson didn't feel the need to stand on this, because I want to see all of you. So I've been charged with sharing the genesis of the Hanford Award, and in order to do so, I need to share a little bit of background about this award that we've instituted. For close to 40 years, Denton Hanford and his wife Judy were faithful supporters of Green River College and its students in a variety of ways. In order to share some of those ways, I'm going to give a few statistics about Denton and the family. As of the fall of 2025, 38 individuals have received a Denton and Judy Hanford Scholarship. I want you to think about the impact of this. There are so many students and families' lives who've been changed for the better because of that scholarship. Businesses and communities have been positively impacted by having an educated workforce right here with us. And so many student goals have been met because of their generosity. 38 years ago, in 1987, the Hanfords made their initial donation to the Green River College Foundation, and their first scholarship was awarded in 2005. That's 20 years of scholarship awards. That's amazing. Denton served on the foundation board for 15 years, from July of 2002 to June of 2017. And his roles included sitting on the executive committee, the finance committee, and also as president of the board. I was privileged to have the opportunity to sit on the foundation board with Denton for 6 of those years and experienced firsthand those attributes that he so modeled so well. He sat quietly in meetings, taking everything in, but when he spoke, we all listened to him. He would concisely restate what had been said, and his comments cut to the heart of the issues at hand. Finally, not only did Denton give of his treasure, he selflessly gave of his time. He served as a tutor in the Math Learning Center for well over a decade. When Denton passed, several of us on the board decided that because of his long dedication to Green River College, we should find some way of honoring his commitment to our students. And we tossed about several ideas. Among them, perhaps another scholarship in Denton's name, or maybe renaming the Math Learning Center to the Hanford Learning Center, or maybe even naming a campus path after him. But ultimately, we decided that an award honoring the attributes that Denton embodied would be the best choice. This prestigious award will be given biannually to an individual with a commitment to students and education, who also models those qualities we so admired in Denton: his selfless service, his humility, his acting as a tireless mentor to multiple students, as well as being an advocate for students and those in need. Our first recipient, Aaron Jones, certainly modeled the award criteria, as does Virginia Cross, who joins Aaron as the 2025 honoree. And I have to say, I've lived in the Auburn community for well over 50 years, and I have heard about Virginia Cross, Councilmember Cross, all of those 50 years, and I am honored to be a part of this celebration today. And with that, I believe Sarah Lynn is next up. That just flips up if you don't want it.
Okay, I guess I'll stand up here too because I'm sort of short. First, on behalf of myself and my family, I would like to acknowledge the Muckleshoot people, who are the traditional stewards of this land, and the federally recognized Treaty Tribe of King County. I offer my respect, I'm getting choked up, to the ancestors and elders of the Muckleshoot tribe and extend that respect to the elders present. So thank you so much for being here today and for the wonderful welcome from the Canoe family. My dad, I know, is smiling down from heaven. So a little bit about my dad. Sorry. He was the best dad in the world. He was totally devoted to his family. He was devoted to the community. He loved to serve others. They raised us that service above self. That's just how we were raised. Later on, I was to find out that that was the motto of Rotary, and he was very involved in Rotary as well. But from my smallest memories, I remember us as a family serving other people. My mom, I call her a gatherer of people. We had all kinds of people at our house all the time, and we celebrate so many holidays. I had a friend tell me the other day, you celebrate Chinese New Year? And I'm like, of course, don't you? You know, we celebrate all kinds of other people's cultures because it enriches our lives. And so for our family and the people who knew him personally, the best way I can describe my dad is he was our lighthouse. He was always there. If you went somewhere, you knew when you came back he would be there. He was strong. He was steady. He was a light. And sorry about the tears. He's probably thinking, stop that, you know. But and for people who didn't get to meet him personally, I really think that Michelle, who designed the logo and the award, I mean the wall placement, when you see that, it shows ripples. And so his legacy, and we can all, someone said this earlier today, that we all, the actions we have and the things we do ripple to other people. And so he would be so excited to have Virginia win this award. I don't know that you all ever met, but reading your bio, he would have loved you. And I'm sure they would have had you over for dinner. But anyway, I just really, he was a wonderful man. I think the people who met him thought he was quiet, and he was a lot of the time. Once in a while, he'd let loose at home. But the one thing I want to leave you with is one time he told us, when you educate a woman, you educate a generation. And that applies to men as well. But just the thought of the fact that what we teach and what we try to pass along to our families and our communities makes a difference and makes a positive difference. And so anyway, Virginia, thank you for making a positive difference. Sorry, I'm shaky, but we appreciate you. And my dad would be so honored that you received this award.
I don't think I need this. I'm not that tall, but I don't want to be that tall right now. Hi, everybody. It is such an honor to be here today. My name is Bridget O'Connor, and I'm part of this 2025 committee. I have to be honest with you. When I was first asked to join the committee for this prestigious award, I was so hesitant, incredibly hesitant. I am the Community Engagement Officer for Red Canoe Credit Union here in our footprint, which means any given day, any given time, I am in proximity of do-gooders. I see them all the time. I'm with them all the time. I'm in the class with them all the time. However, I am an East Coast transplant, and I'm doing my best not to talk like this right now, because when I get nervous, that's what happens. But East Coast transplant, I've been here a long time. I live in Federal Way. I've been there for about 20 years, so it feels a little like home, you know. But this footprint, only about 8 years. So I say only 8 years because anybody that is in the relationship business knows that 8 years is absolutely nothing. What did I know? I knew Green River College, I knew the foundation, I knew the students, and I knew George Fraser. And George Fraser came to me and thought, "Oh no, I think you would be a good contributor." And I tried to argue with him, but you know what? I don't argue with George. So, on July 10th, 2024, I put on my pretty face and I drove to Miss Gale's house for our first meeting of the committee for our first works. I came in, I'm open, this is what I do, I say yes to things. And it was great. I mean, I learned about your dad, and that was so cool. And I learned about all of my committee members who, guess what? Do-gooders, total do-gooders. So nice, super sweet. I get in that car afterwards, and I have the worst case of imposter syndrome. I'm like, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna know? What am I gonna do, right? So I've been working on a superpower. My superpower is I ask for help. It's really hard. It's hard to ask for help. It's hard to accept help, but I think it's harder to ask for help. But that's what I started doing. Anybody who I admired who was in this area, I would just say, hey, who do you know that's doing really great stuff in our community? Who do you know that's doing great stuff in education, in the education world? And by the time that question arrived to my very good friend and coworker, and we call each other our work wives, Brooke Lolnans, she directed me to Dr. Desiree Hayes, who is her alum with the Native Action Network. Texted Dr. Des, I can call her that because that's what Brooke calls her. Dr. Des texted me back Virginia Cross. Okay. So one Google later, and my life is different because now I am introduced to the legacy of Councilmember Cross. So the next meeting I show up, I don't know what anybody else knows, but I know a name. I say that name. The whole place is like, yes, of course. Yes, it is met. Virginia Cross, that name, Councilmember Cross, is met with enthusiasm and respect and appreciation. And I was really happy because it's not really a competitive sport, but it was mine. So I was very excited about that. But that's just step one. It was step one in a process that was so thoughtful and so deliberate and so long. So the next meeting, we were told, you go back, you get your bios, right? You get a little picture, and you get your why. Why are you nominating this person? So the next thing you know, we have 10 astonishing human beings on that list. Just breathtaking, from beloved educators to government officials to pro athletes, and it's this list of titans. And so it made our work really beautifully grueling. Beautiful work to do, right? 8 months, we went from 10, then we had 8, then we had 5, and then we had 3, and then we had our honoree. And I just have to say for myself, because I really knew nothing. I still probably know very little. But your story as a change agent and a lover of learning and the ferocity that you have for creating educational pathways absolutely inspired me. And I certainly hope this award, my hope for this award for us is that it shines a light on your story and it amplifies for people like me who would otherwise never know. We would never know your accomplishments. And if I don't know your accomplishments, how can I know what's possible? But because I do, now I know what is. So thank you so much. There you go.
I feel so foolish because I think they brought this footstool for me, mostly. Thank you.
For me.
I'm sure. Thank you, Gail and Sarah Lynn and Bridget, for reminding us of the history, the meaning, and the care that go into this award. It is now my distinct privilege to present the 2025 D.R. Hanford Leadership Award to Muckleshoot Tribal Council member Virginia Cross. Born in 1939 on the Muckleshoot Reservation, Virginia grew up during some of the most challenging times in the tribe's history. From an early age, she recognized the power of education, becoming the first Muckleshoot to earn a college degree and later a master's in education from the University of Washington. She began breaking new ground in the 1960s as the first Head Start director for the Muckleshoot tribe and the first Native American education coordinator in the Auburn School District. In the Auburn School District. In the 1970s, she helped launch Native education programs in school districts across King and Pierce counties, programs that continue to shape young lives today. The Auburn School District named the Virginia Cross Native Education Center in her honor, a testament to her enduring impact on students and families. For 40 years, Virginia has served on the Muckleshoot Tribal Council, nearly half that time as its leader. Under her guidance, the tribe has moved toward a greater prosperity, expanding access to housing, healthcare, and education for its members, and contributing millions of dollars each year to nonprofit organizations in the greater community. She also served with distinction for 5 years as a trustee of Green River College's board, including time as the chairperson, strengthening the bridge between college and the Muckleshoot community. Over her lifetime, Virginia has been honored with awards at the local, state, and national levels, recognition that reflects her vision, her courage, and her unwavering commitment to building a stronger future for her people and her neighbors. Virginia, your leadership, your advocacy, and your deep dedication to education and community embody everything the D.R. Hanford Leadership Award stands for. It is my honor, on behalf of Green River College and the Board of Trustees, the Green River College Foundation, and the Hanford family, to present you with the 2025 D.R. Hanford Leadership Award. Please join me in congratulating Council Member Virginia Cross.
I always have to use a step stool. I really do appreciate the award. You know, it's significant because for the Muckleshoot tribe, we've been here forever, and we're not really recognized, I think, too much by a non-Indian community, except for a bingo hall and casino that everybody likes. But we kind of stay to ourselves, too, so that's probably our fault. But I do, reminded of Head Start and some of the other programs that we've had. We were the first Head Start program, along with the Navajo tribe, who were funded in 1965 for the Indian Head Start program. So we're still operating, it's still going. We hope to continue forever. You know, and then some of the other, the Virginia Cross Center we did that in the hope that we could get some of our dropout kids back into school. And it's working. We have a really good program with those kids now. And, you know, I appreciate that. Our college program will awards any of our students a full scholarship for any of the colleges in the U.S. that they want to attend. So we've really done a lot in these few years. It seems like I've been there forever, and I probably have been. It's been 45 years, I think, now. I was first elected in 1980. So it's been a long time, and I think we have done a real. I'm just not speaking for myself. I was speaking for our council. You know, the council is a 9-member body, and we are elected every 3 years. And you know, one person can't do all the work that's been done. we have to share the work, we share the load. So I do appreciate everything today. So thank you very much.
So we have some gifts here for you. There is a blanket here. Which you don't have to just carry this back with you right now. Yeah, right. So we have this. Can you help me with that? Yeah, that would be fabulous.
I also have the best nieces in
It's good to have friends. We have some folks who would like to share the impact you have had in their lives. And our first speaker is Dr. Denise Bill.
Hatstadatu. Well, I guess that's good morning. So Hatslahe, good afternoon. Denise Bill Seedstead to all Chud Muckleshoot. I'm Denise Bill. I'm a Muckleshoot tribal member, and I've worked with probably most of you in one way or another. What a great event. And I just wanted to thank you for the warm opening. I think you must have a little bit of a native heart to talk so fondly of your father and to recognize the elders that are here today. And so that was just beautiful and probably an example of your father and your grandfather. So thank you so much for that. I also wanted to ask if there was any Muckleshoot Tribal Council members here today. Just want to recognize them if any of them are here today. If they're not here in person, they're probably at a meeting, or we did have a loss in the community, so we are very sorry for that today, and they might be at that too. So just wanted to recognize our tribal council. Our tribal council are very important to us and people like Virginia Cross. And Virginia Cross, you mentioned that your father had been like a mentor, and Virginia has been a mentor to many of us in our lives, and myself included. And my father, the late Dr. Willard Bill Sr., was also one of the Native educators back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and forward in Virginia, and my dad, and Marie Johnson, and Marie Starr, and Toots Baker, and Charlotte Williams, and all the different Muckleshoots that were educators back in the day and are still carrying on the good work, but they were mentors. And I remember when I was a student in Auburn School District, and I'm telling this story for the second time because I love this story, Virginia. When I was a mere child, I would get letters from Virginia Cross when she was the Indian Education Coordinator in Auburn School District. And she would write these nice things to me saying, Denise Bill, here's 2 free movie tickets for you for having perfect attendance or something like that. And so it was really fun. And I think I still have that letter. I got to bring that to one of the next, we're kind of doing awards. SU granted Dr. Virginia Cross an honorary doctorate degree last summer. That was pretty amazing. Evergreen last summer gave her an award for, I think, the Public Official of the Year award. And so we're kind of on tour with Virginia right now. Celebrating her and having these great fun events. So thank you for that too, Virginia. But So that was one story as a child, and then as I came to work, well, we always knew Virginia in our family as a very important Muckleshoot tribal member, living downtown Auburn, and then later I wasn't allowed to go to Auburn High School because of my dear sister Julie Bill, and she had a lot of fun at Auburn High School, and so I was not allowed to go there. Sorry, Julie. But Julie was bigger than life, and we just lost her in December, and so we're still kind of reeling from that. But then I got sent to private school in Seattle, but I came back. But my family always knew about Virginia, and she's been there for our family. And in our family, we just grew up knowing education was important and that you're going to go to college. And Virginia and my dad and the other great educators from Muckleshoot, that's what they encouraged us to do. Virginia has been a mentor really my whole career here, for the last 27 years. And I know Leslie's going to come up, Kessler, and say a fun story about how we started some of our projects together. And I believe Justice Bill is going to come up and say a couple words too. But just the mentorship that she's provided. I know some of you have had perfect careers, but I've had a couple bumps in mine and really have lived a life. But Virginia's one of the people that has stood by me in the good and the bad. And sometimes, I don't know if anyone here has ever needed a second chance in their life. Virginia Cross gave me a second chance when I needed one about 25 years ago. Thank you, Virginia, for that. And it's really the truth, because in the Native community, when I was down, who was there? It was Virginia. It was the Muckleshoot Indian tribe, and they gave me a second chance. And also, Kip, you were there for me too. One of the greatest bosses I ever had. And so, that's what it's all about, is being there for each other in these relationships. And I also wanted to call up Jojo. Where are you? Jojo, come on up. Jojo is the new Tribal Pathways Manager here at Green River College. But the Muckleshoot Tribal College, this is a collaborative project. And so Jojo is working with us. And last name is Pettibon, right? Yes, I wanted to make sure I had that right. But we were talking the other day. She comes to Muckleshoot Tribal College now twice a week. So we're really happy to have her here and work with our staff and our students. And I was like, what should we get Virginia? What should we get Virginia? And so we came up with this idea. Jojo showed me some pictures of are they cedar bough baskets?
Berry baskets.
Berry baskets. And I'm like, oh my goodness, Virginia loves berries. And that would be perfect. And a fun story, Virginia has taught our early college program students how to make freezer jam with berries. And so we haven't done that in a few years. Maybe we'll still do that one more time, Virginia. But she is a good canner, all these great things, and berries. And so I said, that's perfect. So Jojo actually made this. And so this is from Jojo and the Muckleshoot Tribal College. And I believe we have a cedar, cedar roses in it too. So we'd like to gift this to you, and we'll just bring that over to you. I also want to mention that, we have a lot of goals here in the greater Auburn community, right? And President Johnson talked about some of the partnerships that we have, like the Pre-Apprentice Carpentry Program, which I think there's over 70 students, Muckleshoot Tribal members and community members that have gone through that program. That's a partnership between Muckleshoot Tribal College and Green River College. We have the Early Childhood Education Program. We did 1/4 of the Certified Nursing Assistant Program. We've been doing IT with Alan Carter and Tim Mason for, probably at least 15 plus years. So we're doing lots of good things. And one of the goals for the next 10 years that we have, some of us have, is we want to get some Muckleshoots employed at Green River College. We have our first official Green River employee, Elise Bill Garish. Sorry, it's my daughter. But why not? But the Early Childhood Education Program snatched her up, and she is a professor with them in the Early Childhood Education Program. And she also teaches for other colleges as well, and is a language carrier. And so it's wonderful. So then now we've got one. right? And so I know we have a lot of important people here today that are going to help us over the next 10 years hire some Muckleshoot tribal members in all capacities here at Green River College. And because the superintendent of Auburn School District's here, we should have that same goal for Auburn School District too. All right, so thank you, Virginia.
Thank you, Denise. Justice, would you like to? There you go.
Justice Bill Teedstedt to all Chest Buckleshoot. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Justice Bill, and it's just been so warming to my heart to hear all of these kind words that have been shared about Virginia. I kept thinking about when I was in high school, I had a lot more like potential than I do lived success, but Virginia recognized that in me, and she was going out to the East Coast to Boston for, I don't know what you were there for, but she invited me to come with little Virginia so that I could tour the campus at Harvard. And it was just, I just remember being so awestruck by being on that campus and having so much fun running around the city of Boston. And it was then that I kind of realized, you know, that like I want to get out of the state and pursue my education. It took a couple bumps along the road. I dropped out a couple times or took a couple breaks, I guess. But I went to Seattle Central, and then direct transferred to UC Berkeley, and then came back home and started working at our tribal college. So a lot of the programs you heard my aunt, Dr. Bill, mention, the ECE program, the CNA program, and the carpentry program that I help operate were made possible by Virginia's vision, by her steadfast support of education and of vocational programs, of recognizing the fact that, you know, not all of our tribal students are meant to be scholars, that some of them are going to be more successful working with their hands. I have a couple of our carpentry students here today, both of our MJs and Olivia, and Dr. Bill really wanted me to highlight this program just because of the amount of support that Tribal Council provides to our students. To date, well, as of next week, we'll have 80 students who have gone through our pre-apprenticeship carpentry program, 80 Muckleshoot tribal and community members that have been introduced to the construction and carpentry basics, that have been introduced to a viable trade. But they also receive a lot of support from the Muckleshoot Tribal College and Green River College while they're enrolled in that program. And that's because of the generosity of our tribal council. And I imagine it has a lot to do with Virginia's advocacy in those meetings. But our students receive a meal card so that they can get lunch and breakfast every day at the Gator Grill. They receive transportation from the Muckleshoot Tribal College, from the res to Green River and then back every day. And then they also receive incentive checks. So when they complete the class, Tribal Council gives them a check to reward their progress in the class. It's a phenomenal program. Even though I've gone through college, I kind of want to take it if I don't have a busy summer, just because of all the benefits. But again, it's just, as I heard my auntie say, you know, we've been kind of on an awards tour for Virginia this last year, and it's been pretty cool to witness all of the love that not only our community has, but the recognition of our surrounding institutions, surrounding cities, surrounding governments, because as Virginia said, we're not recognized in the mainstream enough, the Muckleshoot people. And for you all, I want to raise my hands to Green River and to the D.R. Hanford Foundation for recognizing Virginia and the decades and decades of work that she's put in, because it was personal investments in every tribal member, just like she made in me, that has made Muckleshoot such a success in education. Going to national conferences now in my position at the tribal college, I didn't quite realize as a student how lucky we have it at Muckleshoot. We have the premier scholarship in the country, in Indian country, and we wouldn't have that if it weren't for Virginia. So again, just want to raise you up today. You deserve this award and all of this work.
I'll invite my colleague, Leslie Kessler.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I'll not stand on the box. Yeah, it's a big crowd. I couldn't see anybody from the front. I want to say, too, that what Denise mentioned about the Early Childhood Department. My name, by the way, is Leslie Kessler, and I'm a full-time faculty member in the Early Childhood Education Department, and I'm the director of that program. And we are thrilled to have Elise join us as an adjunct instructor. It's just been a joy to have her as part of our program. She brings so much knowledge and information and just a love of teaching, and so we're just really excited to have her. So I'm here to talk about the partnership that the Early Childhood Program has had with the Muckleshoot tribe for many years. And I want to say that, also I wanted to mention before I start, that I was able to attend the Effective Teaching Institute. I wanted to put a plug in for that. That's a conference put on by the Muckleshoot tribe and the tribal college. And it's just the most wonderful experience. For me, it was life-changing in finding out more about the history and just the education system up there. I recommend it to anyone. It's every spring in June. We brought our entire staff this year and tried to encourage a lot of people to come from the college. I know that Dr. Johnson came. And so I think that just having lots of people attend is just wonderful. It's really a great experience. So our partnership with the Muckleshoot Tribal College and their education department began quite a long time ago, actually back in the late 1990s. I was actually teaching at Green River at that time, 98 or so, and it was Virginia who really opened up this opportunity for collaboration. And really this is what started our 25-year or 30-year almost collaboration that we have with the Muckleshoot community. Her interest was in forming a cohort of students who were wanting to work as paraeducators. And we happened to have a paraeducator certificate that we taught at the college. And so at about the same time, and I was a little fuzzy on this, I had to ask my colleague Diana Holtz, who's right there. She was my partner in this. We were in it together. And at about that same time, we were approached by, I think it was either a dean or a vice president or someone at the college, and asked if we would be interested in participating in a grant that was being offered by US West. So for those of you that are too young to know, that's a telephone company. That was when we had landlines. And this grant was to do an online program. And so online education was not a thing then. It was all face-to-face instruction. So we said, sure. We didn't even know what it was, So we didn't even have a computer in our office. So it was typewriters. We taught, I was thinking, how did we teach back then? It was film strips and overhead projectors. And the worst problem with technology back in those days was if the bulb went out on your overhead projector, because they were expensive and nobody had any. So anyway, totally different today. But we said, sure. Diane and I were pretty adventurous. We said, sure, we'll be a part of that. So this collaboration, which really was initiated by Virginia and Denise, with the Muckleshoot students, became the first online program taught at Green River College. And I say that, and online, it's kind of what we would now call a virtual hybrid sort of program, because there was a big camera, like that one back there, in the classroom with me teaching in the classroom. Diana would go to the tribal college and be in the classroom with the students. And so there was a delay in the talking, and so the voice didn't match the movement. And then this was the worst thing, was Diana would be with the students, and they would say something funny, and I would just sit there. And then I would laugh 5 seconds later. And they were just like, Diana, what is wrong with Leslie? She just doesn't even seem to really be with us, So, yeah. But I'm happy to say that it was a success. All the students completed the program. They all graduated with their paraeducator certificates. And I know many of them went on to do lots more in education, went on to get advanced degrees and did all kinds of things. So that was really wonderful. And it was through Virginia's leadership and her vision that that whole thing started. And as I mentioned, we continue to work with them today. We are now teaching classes up at the Muckleshoot Tribal College. We have a cohort of students who are actually students who are working in their child care centers, and they come to class during the day, and they get support and all kinds of support, just like Justice was talking about. And so it's a really successful program. We're just so excited to be collaborating with them. And I'm sure that, everyone has been inspired by Virginia's dedication to education and her interest in partnering with others to create all these different opportunities, as you heard about from other speakers, within the community. So we just want to say from our department, Virginia, congratulations on this award. I'm happy to have been a small little piece of your work, or the result of an idea that you had. And we're so happy that this collaboration has continued to grow into a successful program. And I just wanted to share with you all that our group of students, the paraeducators, they made Diana and I each a drum. And so I brought it today because it sits in my office and it's been there for 30 years. But every student initialed it, and it says 98. That was the year they graduated, so I know it was 1998. And so, this was such a wonderful memory, and I still have such fond memories of that program, even though it was very challenging to do that online program. So thank you, Virginia.
And may I invite Dr. Kip Herren to the podium.
Not used to the Dr. Kip Herren thing. Grandpa is more what I'm used to. Hey, if my face looks green, I'm not getting ill. Okay, you don't need to dial 911, and I'm not the Incredible Hulk, okay? I see a lot of familiar faces now that I look back over there. People that really make a difference. It's really inspiring for me to have a chance to say words about someone that I idolize, and I have for a long time, Virginia Cross, because of what she says, does, and lives. So to begin, it's an honor. But this isn't the first award that I've been a part of on behalf of Virginia Cross. Virginia Cross is an Auburn High School graduate. Did you know that? Go Trojans, right? Go Trojans. I see a few others out there in the audience too. And I was honored to present her election into the Auburn High School Hall of Fame. Now, this is no ordinary recognition, not by any means. It's very special. In fact, Virginia was a unanimous selection. Ichiro was not. She was unanimous. And the other unanimous selections include Gordon Hirabashi. And we know Gordon and the role he played regarding the internment of the Japanese and how wrong it was and how much he fought most of his life. As a side note, his brother was my history teacher at San Francisco State. Small world. And the other, Christine Gregoire, mother of short order cook at the Rainbow. And so that's a pretty good troika right there of Auburn High School. And there are many others, but those three I call the troika of greatness. I have a long history with Virginia, pretty much my whole career. You hear the Hamilton thing, want to be in that room. I want to be in that room. My grandkids all know the words to all that. So, and Virginia was always in the room. She always was. I was a teacher at Auburn High. Then I was a principal at Auburn High, and then I was the superintendent of Auburn High and the rest of the district. During that time, I always found Virginia to be not only brilliant in a quiet, thoughtful way, long on reflection, very engaging, kind, and with a great sense of humor. A great sense of humor. And I recall one time when I was expressing some frustration with her as a high school principal about not maybe having the best relationships with some of the families that would come in with kids that I had disciplined. You know, so you'd negotiate between the family and the kid. And Virginia would help me out on the Muckleshoot kids that needed that. And she shared with me one time something that made a difference in my life. So I wanted to get to the essence of that, because if it makes a difference in your life, then that person is really significant. And then Virginia's done that for a lot of us. She told me during my frustration, Kip, we lost a generation of parents and grandparents to a grave injustice that harmed our people and our culture. It threatened to destroy our being. Wow, I hadn't thought of it that way, but now that I have grandkids, kids, and so forth, and as an educator, when you think about that's a pretty powerful motive, and it changed the way I looked and talked and spent time with my friends, my colleagues, the Muckleshoots. So, as an educational leader, Virginia is a keeper of sacred culture and treasures and traditions. And this is the part that I think is the essence of Virginia Cross, and a visionary for educational excellence and economic prosperity. She's able to pull those together. And I have a favorite poet, Santayana, and in the spirit of Santayana, I say this about Virginia. Virginia's leadership has always embraced the future, always, knowing that soon it will become the past. Remembering that it was once all that was humanly possible. And that's the talent as a leader that Virginia had. She was able to honor the past, embrace the past, the culture, the meaning, the spirit of the past, and do so in a way that she could see the future. Always the child, the family, and learning. Those were the things that Virginia just modeled on a regular basis. So just during the 40 plus years I worked with Virginia in some capacities I was her boss, you know, in some capacities she was my boss, but we always worked together as a team. And I have to tell you, tribal elementary school, programs, curriculum, elementary, middle school, high school development, VC alternative high school, 1,000% increase in the number of Muckleshoot students graduating from high school, college center, running start, King County Library, new community center, state-of-the-art EC Learning Center. The Muckleshoots had early childhood learning before the Auburn School District did. We learned from them. Wings and museums. But the crowning glory was the beautiful, magnificent Muckleshoot Tribal School. What an accomplishment. Favorite part of new teacher orientation was every year, year after year, unanimously was going up to the reservation and being a guest and learning from the Muckleshoot leadership and seeing that beautiful school and how it operated on behalf of children from early childhood all the way through high school, designed to fit in well with the culture, the nature of the community. I had the privilege of being at the dedication, and I have to tell you how proud I was when Governor Gregoire participated along with tribal council and school board leaders. And these Auburn High School grads were the people that were most important in that presentation. They were Christine Gregoire, Charlotte Williams, and Virginia Cross, all Auburn High grads. Go Trojans. How deserving Virginia is of this award. How engaging has she been in the future and the care, being the caretaker for all of her children and her families, that she was entrusted with a role where she kept the past treasured, honored ancestors, brought back those grandparents, those parents, those great-grandparents that were lost and now have been found. Virginia, your leadership is one of nature's masterpiece. Thank you.
Our final speaker today is Dr. Alan Spicciati, who is superintendent of the Auburn School District. Welcome.
Thank you, George. Good afternoon. It is my great honor to be here and to celebrate Virginia Cross with you. I was asked to speak about Virginia's legacy today and the impact to this very day on the Auburn School District. When I came to Auburn 10 years ago, I was grateful for the strong foundation my predecessors built for the Auburn School District. It's a tribute to Dr. Kip Herren and many, many others who came before me. One of the school district's strongest relationships is with the Muckleshoot tribe. And there was no way to separate our partnership with the Muckleshoot Indian tribe from our partnership with Virginia Cross, who was the first Indian education coordinator in the Auburn School District. I'll never forget my first meeting with Virginia in her office as the chair of the tribal council. Virginia asked me to meet to hear some of her concerns and supports that she wanted for Muckleshoot students in the Auburn School District. As we talked, I couldn't help but notice the photos of Virginia around the office. Wow, there's Ted Kennedy. And there's Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. It was a testimony to her significance, and if I'm being honest, it made me straighten up a little in my chair. And it wasn't until I noticed a photo of Virginia with the Seahawks dance team that I was able to relax a little. The most important lesson I learned that day is that for all of her stature and gravitas, Virginia Cross is a real person who cares about the things that matter most to her people and especially her children. To this day, Virginia goes out of her way to ensure that Muckleshoot students have everything they need. It starts with the basics, school supplies, meals, and access to activities that cost a little more. But her advocacy is informed by years of wisdom and experience, and she always takes it to the next level. One example is a phrase we've heard on more than one occasion. Can we get them credit for that? I'm glad you're laughing. That's good. She's referring to academic credit. Virginia recognizes that not all learning takes place in the classroom, and that cultural and environmental education are just as valid as the subjects in the textbooks. As a result of Virginia's advocacy, Auburn students earn credits for Canoe Journey and other hands-on learning, setting a trend for other districts to follow. Today, work started by Virginia continues to enrich students, staff, and families in the Auburn School District. Here are just a few examples. High school students can attend the Virginia Cross Native Education Center. It's an innovative partnership between the Muckleshoot tribe and the Auburn School District, providing personalized, culturally relevant learning for students. Many Virginia Cross Center students need something a little more or a little different, and the center accommodates their differentiated needs with high levels of support. Last year, the Virginia Cross Center had thriving numbers of students and most importantly, graduates. Thanks to Virginia, Auburn teachers have been trained on Native history long before the law required that all districts in Washington teach the since time immemorial curriculum. We are grateful for the ongoing support of tribal representatives to ensure Auburn teachers are ready to deliver high-quality instruction on Native history. On that note, and actually something that Kip just mentioned, every August, the Muckleshoot tribe graciously welcomes Auburn's new teachers to a luncheon presentation on tribal history, culture, and education, ensuring that every generation of Auburn staff is equipped to serve our students and value the beautiful people and traditions of the Muckleshoot tribe, which we are honored to be in community with. And we're doing this again next Tuesday. Most importantly, we continue a thriving Native education program. Today, Robin Pratt walks in the steps of Virginia and Dr. Denise Bill, coordinating academic services, extended learning opportunities, and cultural programs to ensure we honor the responsibility of educating Native students. At Chinook Elementary, Olympic Middle School, Auburn High School, and all across the Auburn School District, Native students are thriving as they work toward graduation and beyond. We are proud to see increasing numbers of Native graduates. We celebrate our Native graduates in a special ceremony in our Performing Arts Center and rejoice in all Native cultural modifications to caps and gowns. For all these years, Virginia Cross has been there every step of the way. She set the path we follow and provides welcome feedback that keeps us true to her values. In spite of accolades like today's celebration, Virginia never loses sight of what really matters. It's never about her, it's always about the next generation. Thank you, Virginia, for your lifelong commitment to education and the Native students in the Auburn community. Today's recognition of your legacy could not be more deserved.
Can we go ahead and advance to the next slide? We had an opportunity this morning to unveil the recognition wall, and here it is. It sits in what we call Zielinski Center, which houses our nursing program, and the President's Office Foundation, the Vice President for Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, her office is in that building as well. And as our leaders and our educators walk into that space every day, you will be there, Aaron Jones will be there, Denton will be there to encourage us to do our very best for our students, to remind us that we are in service to something larger than ourselves and in community with you and others to meet our students where they're at to help them get to where they want to go. Thank all of you for being here today. It's been an honor to have you here, to welcome Virginia, your family. Your family bailed me out here to help you put the blanket on you. That was something that I just learned, and I appreciate that learning. It was wonderful, and it was something that I will remember for all of my days. So thank you for bailing me out. I really appreciate it. And with that, we have refreshments and food in the backyard, and we'd love to have you join us and continue our celebration. Thank you so much.